Greetings, Artur. It's Cameron here from Scroll. I'm so sorry. We seem to be at such an impasse in trying to find a time to connect. Um, as in my email, unfortunately, it's my wife's birthday today. So, look, unfortunately, I won't be available to meet tonight. But look, I wanted to get you up and running anyway. But this is a quick video guide to help as kind of a preface to us getting together. So look, let me jump into this so I can help you out. I've just added you into the Scroll platform. The screen that I have up and showing at the moment is a screen that allows us to manage the Scroll platform for you. Now, to get here, just in case, I'll just show you. If you navigate to the scroll.edu.au website, head into that area. I'm just in an incognito window here so I can show you what it looks like. If you head up to the top right hand corner and select sign in, and the one that we want to go into is the HR and recruitment side of the equation. So if we click into here, it'll come up with a login. So you'll be able to enter your login credentials, and I've just sent through a login for you to basically access. You'll be able to set your password. It'll log you in, but just in case you get lost, you can take this avenue to log in as well. So let me jump back into here. So what you will see when you get in is your Scroll platform. It's broken up into two main constituents that we want to have a look at today. Number one being the dashboard and how to get around and do what we need to do in there. And the other is Connect, which is the spot where we are going to be creating our vacancies. And we'll also be able to search for candidates. But look, I'll try to keep this as succinct as possible. But look, don't worry if there's anything that you miss. We're going to get together. We can go through this on multiple occasions, multiple sessions to make sure that we get you across exactly what you need to get out of the platform. So let's start with the dashboard. The first thing that we're going to want to be able to do is that we want to be able to add your colleagues into the platform as well. So to do that, if you click over here and head to users and permissions, in this section, we can add people's first name, last name, their role. And look, I would imagine for the first couple of additions that we're making, we probably want to set them as super users as opposed to normal users. I wouldn't worry about support and limited users just yet, but basically a super user can go right into the administration of the Scroll platform, whereas a user is someone that is going to be posting up availability, which is pretty easy done. So yeah, you'll be able to add each of your colleagues in there by heading into these areas, hit invite user, and then they'll get an email just like you have as well. If you do get stuck with this, feel free to email through their credentials and we can send this through for you. It's absolutely fine. So back into the dashboard area, just to give you an idea, this will let you know if you've got incoming notifications. Look, I've got notifications in here for a bunch of other schools, so don't worry about those too much. We can also have a look at the applications received in the last 7 days, and we've got a couple of other things in here to help us. Obviously the recruitment drive is coming up shortly. We'll get to that in just a sec. So the next area that we're going to go into, I think, which is probably most prominent, and just to recap, this little icon up in the top left-hand corner is how I've managed to get to that users and permissions. I can also edit my school profile. I can also do that through the the Connect section as well. And there's other bits and pieces in here about accounts, billing. I wouldn't worry about those too much, just to get you up and running. I'd just worry about the editing of the school profile. So when I come in here, I can start making additions to the profile. I can also do that by coming to this Connect area here as well. I could also come straight into View Public Page, but yeah, they're both the same. It doesn't matter. I can also do it by coming into the dashboard and hitting Edit Your School Profile here as well. So as I click on in, I'm going to... Oh, you've just emailed through letting me know that you've received an email. Yes, you have. This is for you to get access to the platform. So in here, when we're in this page, we can make additions or changes to the profile, or the profile that is showing on Scroll. So here we've got some basic information that we've captured from your website, an image from your website, the logo from your website as well. We can also see that there is a brief write-up that's been picked up as well. You can change this. It's completely and utterly up to you. We've also got the ability to upload information about the school, so we can jump in and hit edit section to be able to make alterations to any of those areas. We can also see that there's a spot for employment information as well. So again, we can hit the edit section to go in there and start making alterations to this. And benefits as well. I highly recommend, if there are amazing benefits that your school provides to teachers when they come on board, this is a great place to put it in there. By hitting edit section, you can go ahead and start fleshing out that section so that when people are looking at your profile, they can see what they're going to be able to get once they come and join your school. So this is important. I think it's really good to make sure that this looks great. It looks succinct. We've got the location correct, which is fantastic. But any additional information that you can put in there about the school, about the employment information and benefits, definitely will work to your advantage. I highly recommend you take a look at those. So let's jump into the next part of the equation. I'm going to jump back into the Connect area. So in Connect, this is where we post the vacancies. This is where we make jobs available so that the people on the Scroll platform can go ahead and start interacting with those jobs. So what we've got here is the ability to create a vacancy. We can also search for candidates. We can have a look at our public page, which is what we were just on. So very similar to where we just were, just you can't see the edit buttons in this case. To get the edit buttons, we need to go back into Connect, and we need to go and either head into our dashboard or go straight into our edit school profile. But let's have a look at the structure of how these jobs come together. So when we create a vacancy, we click on an instance such as this, and we get two very easy kind of fields that make a bit of sense. The vacancy name, so if we're looking for an English teacher, we can stipulate that here. And the vacancy description. Now, the vacancy description is quite important. It's a really good idea to put things in here like, what's the selection criteria? What are the responsibilities of the position that people are going to be fulfilling? Can we give the candidates information that will let them make an informed decision to say, yes, I'm the right candidate for this, or no, I'm not the right candidate for this. Having a single line of like, we are looking for an English teacher is not informative. It's very short, it's very brief. We want to set expectations for the candidates so that they know what they're going to be applying for. The accepting applications from, this is when the job is available on the profile, on the Scroll platform. Applications close on is when it's no longer visible on the Scroll platform. And the role start date, as you can imagine, when we've got people coming internationally, if we want to give them time, it's good to stipulate that this is a fair amount of time away from the close date. If these are too close, then we can have problems with getting people in country at the right time. Coming over into the applicant requirements, minimum qualification. Look, for a lot of instances or a lot of the schools that I'm working with, they want a bachelor's degree, not an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree as the minimum requirement. The minimum number of years that they wish, it can be anywhere from 3 to 5. Just note that if we start pushing this up to a minimum of 10, a minimum of 15 years of experience, the pool of potential teachers that we have to pull on becomes much smaller. So 3 years seems to be a good mean, a good average. But moving on to here, applicants required to submit a cover letter. That's up to you. I personally think it's a good idea to have people submit a cover letter. And this second option here, allow applicants to apply with an incomplete profile. What this does is, I would turn this off for now. Just to keep this succinct and keep this short, I would say don't worry about utilizing this just yet. Additional documents. This is an area where we can add PDF documents, or if we've got things from our marketing division, this is a really good spot that we could come in to upload those additional documents. The position breakdown. This is interesting. This is actually quite important and is definitely going to be your friend. So the position breakdown, we start by choosing the position type, and most of the time we're going to be choosing a teacher. We've got a lot of other things that we can choose from here, but let's keep this as practical as possible by saying teacher. And then we get to break down, well, what's the curriculum? What's the curriculum that we're working with here? Just for an example, I'm going to say advanced placement in this case. As I make a change or I alter or choose my curriculum, over here it lets me know what job alerts are going to go out to which candidates. So anyone that has experience, well, has a bachelor's and a minimum of 3 years experience, and that experience is with advanced placement, that's who the alerts are going to go out to. If I change this to Common Core, maybe it's US based, it changes and it lets me know that we're going to send out to people that have experience with the following curricula: United States of America, Advanced Placement, Common Core, and so on and so forth. And if we start moving into the IB realm, then yeah, we can see that changes as well. So choosing the correlating curriculum is important. If you want to cast a very wide net, choose international. International includes all of the following, including no curricula required, so that will go out to a very broad base. Blessing and a curse. It's good to have such a broad base, but it's also going to get quite specific as well. So just a little something that you'll have up your sleeve. We then go into the educational stage, so we can stipulate that maybe we're looking for someone that is elementary or primary. We can choose the department, so we start getting into our disciplines here. So we might be looking for someone in mathematics, and then once we've chosen our department, we can choose the subject. So it might be specifically calculus, or just generalist, where we're looking for a generalist. We can stipulate that as fervently as we wish, or we can keep it as overarching as possible. So we do also have the ability to split these as well. Let's wait until we get together and we can look at that together. But what this basically allows you to do is, if we had a teaching position that was going to be split between mathematics and English, we could go ahead and we could split a department. Or just to kind of show you an example, maybe they're going to do maths on an elementary level, but then we're going to get them to do early years, let's say English and literature, and they're going to be a generalist again. And we can basically set a weighting, just to keep it simple. Let's say it's 50% either way, so that we can have a very specific role that we're posting up that has a split between mathematics as well as English. So having a 50-50 split, or we can change that as long as it equals 100%. That's absolutely fine, and we can keep splitting this, which is fine. And again, it's very similar to what I mentioned with the minimum qualifications. The more that we add in here, the more criteria that we add in here, the smaller the potential pool of potential teachers. If we're just looking for someone who's got elementary mathematics as a generalist, chances are we'd get more people back as opposed to having a split position. But if it's relevant to the position, then we want to stipulate that. We want to make sure that people are aware of exactly what we require on the school level as well. So then we move into the pathway types. So this is a little thing that is our applicant tracking system. So you've got two options. You can either choose from an 8-step or a 6-step process. Both of them do the same thing. I find the 8-step process to be useful, but 6 is also like a good brief version of doing the same thing. I'll go into these in a little bit more detail for you in just a second. All right, and down the bottom, don't worry about this too much, but we've got a point of escalation here where we can share a job on a platform called eTeach, which is great for finding UK candidates, or candidates right throughout the world. But let's not worry about that too much just yet. So just to quickly recap, when we create the vacancies, we've got the vacancy name, the description, provide a nice fulfilled description. It's important. It is the distinction between getting a good result and getting a poor result. If it's a single line of like, we're looking for an English teacher, it's like, yeah, well, we can tell that from the vacancy name. We want to provide more information in the description. What's the selection criteria? What kind of experience do we want that candidate to have? What skills should they have? Try and paint as much of a picture as we can in this description. We've got the date that we start showing this on Scroll, the date that we stop showing this on Scroll, and then the role that we are going to commence with the actual job. We've then got the requirements. We've got these two sections here. Let's not worry about incomplete profiles too much just yet. Additional documents, and then that position breakdown, which we went through. So either choosing the right curriculum or casting a wide net by using international as an option. So once that's set, we would hit, we could save it as a draft if we wanted to, and we could access that further down the track, or we could just create the vacancy, send it live. I'm just going to cancel out of this one. I'm not going to send anything live on yours just yet. But just to show you what one of these would look like, I'm going to flick over into another school. Bear with me for just a moment. Let's go into Al Bayan. Some friends of mine in Kuwait. There's nothing in here that is private or confidential, so I'm more than happy to share this. So this is Al Bayan's interface that they've got. So in Connect, where they've got create vacancy and find, they've got a bunch of instances in here of school jobs that have just gone up. So let's have a look at their high school math teacher. So from here we can see that there are 30 job views that have happened, 3 applicants so far. It's early days for this position. And when I click on it, I get a different kind of interface. So they've opted for the 6-step process. So as applicants come in, they can shortlist those applicants, they can set them to interview, they can set them to position offered, they can accept the offer, or they can decline the candidate. So in this case, we've got a Mr. Nair and we've got Mr. Rahman that have both applied for this position. And when the candidates apply, we can see these candidate cards, which is really nice. This is a really good, succinct way of us being able to understand a little bit about each of the applicants that have come through. So with Mr. Nair, what we can see quite quickly, we can see where he currently is. So he's currently in India. He's a mathematics teacher. He's got 33 years of experience. His highest qualification, he's got his master's, which is great. We can see a referee rating here. So this is based off 4 referees that Mr. Nair has accumulated so far. So these references, for anyone to show up on Scroll, they need to have at least 3 references that have been done by professional colleagues. We can also see that 87% of referees have said that they would work with him again. It's not bad. Given that he's gone with 4 references, it's not bad. Usually I like to see that at 100%. 7.9 is absolutely fine. I would never expect someone to be 10 out of 10. That would mean that we will probably all know them because they would be famous for education worldwide. But 9.2 for Mr. Rahman is great as well. 100% of his referees have said that they'd work with him again. Just be cognizant of these numbers. If we saw that Mr. Nair, with his 33 years of experience, had 4 or 5 or 8 or 15 references, he might have a bit of a dip in his respective scores, just due to the statistical nature of having more reference points. So let's have a look. So for Mr. Nair, we can say show more about this applicant, and we can have a look at his details. We can see some bare necessities, which is great, but then we can go into degrees and registration. So here's Master of Science. We can go ahead and view a copy of his degree as well, which is great. Career, I like this area. I find this area to be very, very helpful. We can see that he's been at his current school for 6 months, and he's got IBDP experience in mathematics standard level, which is fine. We can then see that he spent 11 months doing Common Core across geometry and algebra. Okay, so he spent a year here at an online mathematics area. And then if we continue back, okay, so here we've got a much more substantial amount of experience. Back at Ras Al Khaimah Academy in United Arab Emirates, he spent 7 years as a middle school mathematics algebra teacher. A huge amount of experience. But we can also have a look at what kind of positions they're interested in, have a look at some of their housing and visa information. But where it gets interesting is when we come to the references. So here we've got the 4 references that Mr. Nair has got. We can see Ms. Vidya. We've also got Mr. Chako. And we've also got Eileen has also provided some information. And you can see there are these brief kind of summations, like an overall score, teaching and learning, beyond the classroom, professionalism. And look, there are 2 very interesting strains of references that I see in my experience. Anyone that is marked 10 out of 10, for me, it's a lazy reference. Someone is just kind of ticking all the boxes and moving on. 7 is good. If they were kind of down in the 3 mark and they were early on in their career, that's absolutely fine. It would probably indicate that they're still developing, they're still learning. So 7 is fine. 9 is very high. That's a very, very high score. 8.8 and 9. Look, again, these are high scores as well. And 6.3. Look, that's a little bit more kind of honest, I would say, which is nice. So what we can do in these areas is we can go ahead and look at these references. We can have a look at the information that's in there. We can see straight away that there are 3 questions at the top that are quite pertinent. Would you work with this person again? And Mr. Santosh has said maybe. Have they ever been in a situation in regards to their ethical standings? No. Look, if anyone ever says yes, we investigate that. Scroll investigates that. Also, if anyone ever indicates that there was knowledge of something relating to child protection, we instantaneously take that candidate's profile offline. We'll investigate that. We'll look at it in depth because we want to know exactly what's going on in that situation. But just to jump into this really quickly, there's a rubric that's applied. That's our intellectual property, something that we're constantly improving and looking to improve again with a new iteration soon. But basically, ranging from inconsistent to lead being incredible and inconsistent being, no, that's not good. And we can see in this case that there's a lot of developing, which is fine, proficient, which is good. We can see little kind of bits and pieces as we continue. There are little kind of inserts of information that we can kind of learn from. If we ever want to reference these, we can save these, and we can go ahead and open those as PDFs further down the track, which is absolutely fine. But it helps us basically create an idea of, okay, well, that's great. We've got some applicants that have come in. They're sitting in the applicant area, and I might go, okay, well, for Mr. Nair, sure, I want to shortlist him because I think he's worth having a conversation with. So I could either hit this button to move him to the next part of the sequence, or I could hit move him to and go ahead and move him to the subsequent area. Whenever we move someone through this applicant tracking system, these candidates have no idea. This is your tool. That is not their tool. This is for us to manage the applicants that are coming on through. So if you do move someone to shortlisted, it is not going to let anyone know. If you move someone to interview, unless you specifically ask the system to send an interview request, it won't send anything through. The only time that there will be something that is triggered or something that communicates between yourself and with the applicants will be in 2 instances. Either they move to accepted offer. So for example, maybe Mr. Nair is fantastic. We have a position offered, he accepts. Once we move him here, it will prompt Mr. Nair, have you just accepted a job with Paragon? And if it says yes, we take Mr. Nair offline. He has a job now. So we don't make him visible to other schools. He can't be poached. He can't be approached by someone else. Once he's in accepted offer, we protect him for a couple of months. We don't want him showing up if he's accepted an offer. And the other option we have is declined. So if Mr. Nair just is not the right candidate for us, we can let him know. If we hit decline this candidate, it sends an automated message to Mr. Nair and says, look, thank you very much, you weren't successful this time. And then Scroll, we provide him with a good half a dozen other jobs that meet his criteria for him to continue his journey. So we try to help keep him moving in the right direction. So look, in a quick summation of what we had a look through there, once we've got our jobs, we've created our vacancies, we've then got the ability to see our jobs once they're up and live, and we can see how many views they've got, we can see how many applicants we've received as we go on through. As things get busier, we get positions that have kind of a higher number of people coming on through. So I can see here that we've got 2 applicants here. That's not too hard to work with. We can quickly move them to the right the right part of their journey. If they're not the right match, we can just decline them straight away. Or if they look like they're interesting, then great, we can go ahead and move them or click a button to move them into the next section. Just remember, they're not going to get notifications that they've been moved to shortlist or interviewed or anything like that. You'll be absolutely fine. Let's jump back into the one for Paragon. So what we've got now is basically 2 things. The first being that we've got the ability to go in and edit our school profile, which is important. We want to make sure that that looks great and make sure that the information there is informative and is helpful. We've also got the ability to come over into Connect, and we can go ahead and start creating vacancies. We do have a online global recruitment event that is coming up. If you do not have any vacancies when we're coming into that event, let us know. There are other measures that we can put in place that can help. But also the other thing that we probably want to have a quick look at as well is how we can find candidates as well. So very, very similar as we come straight into custom search, very similar to what we saw when we were setting the parameters for the vacancy. So we're choosing our minimum criteria, we're choosing our curriculum, we're choosing our educational stage, we're choosing our department, and then getting into the discipline. We can do something very similar here where we could look for candidates of a particular ilk. So we might say, I want someone who's got their bachelor's with a minimum of 3 years. English could be their spoken language, French, go for it. We can choose whichever we want. I'm going to go ahead and make a search for a teacher, and the educational stage is, let's stick with elementary. Department, let's go back to mathematics again, and I'm just going to go for a generalist. I just want to keep my net rather broad. And for my curriculum, I'm going to do the international option, the one that was quite broad. So if we remember previously, choosing international curriculum is very inclusive, very, very inclusive. I can choose people based on what country they're in so that I can find them. And another very handy little thing that we can do too is we can choose attending event. So we could say, well, show me who's going to be attending the global recruitment event in January. Let's go ahead and search. There's also a couple of things in here for more sensitive information. So we can search on gender, marital status, minimum and maximum age as well, which can be very helpful if we're getting people of a particular age coming in and getting a visa. We can exclude candidates with dependents. It is an option. We can come in, choose the citizenship based on their visa information, or someone who has an EU passport. A lot of my European schools require that, so it's something that we have as an option. But let's search. Let's run a search. So we can see here, oh, I haven't found any candidates that are matching what I'm looking for specifically. So let's say I'm just going to drop the global event. Let's see if there's anyone here. Sure, there's 3. Okay. We can see there's Ali Reza, who is currently in Thailand. We can see Anthony here, who's currently in Vietnam. And I can also see Sarah here, who's currently in Qatar. Actually, she's at one of the schools that I work with, which is fantastic. So look, if we were searching for someone proactively, we might go, okay, well, I know that I'm looking for this mathematics thing, or it's coming up in the next couple of weeks, but I want to start making some connections. What I can do is I can run a search like this. I can identify someone like Sarah and go, okay, well, look, she's got a 9.5 rating. 100% of her referees would work with her again. I'm going to have a quick look. Let's have a look at her degrees. National Geographic certified educator, interesting. Master in Science, fantastic. Let's go ahead and have a look at her career really quickly. Excellent. Yeah, really, really interesting. She spent a long time at Modern English. So I might then decide I'm going to reach out to Sarah and ask her if she would like to have a conversation with us. So I could use this button here that says start a conversation. So once I click that, it opens up into a little chat client. So I can go and scroll down to my type of message, and I could say, hi Sarah, noticed your profile, would really like to talk to you. Would you be interested in having a conversation with us? Send. And then we could basically, if she messages about us back, we'll get a notification. An email will come through and say someone's gotten in touch, and we can come back into this little chat channel here by coming into the top right hand corner to interact with her and make sure that we have a conversation with her. So just to go through that again, find a candidate. We can also do it a relatively lazy way by using Smart Match. So Smart Match, we just choose the vacancy. We haven't got any at the moment. We could choose a vacancy that we've already got created, run a Smart Match, and it will come up with some options for us, which is fine. But I'm just going to do this as a very broad search. So once we've run our search, we've found the people that we want to interact with. We can have a look at more about the applicant just to learn more about them. I think going into start a conversation is great. You can hit straight to invite candidate to apply, but I usually find that that's quite impersonal. If you at least first reach out and say, start a conversation and say, hi Brittany, would you like to meet up with us? Are you interested in this position that we've got? Or maybe link them through to the job that you've got posted. If she says yes, then hit the invite candidate to apply. You can also do things along the lines of, this is quite interesting, if someone has a teaching partner, you can go ahead and click this little button to have a look at their teaching partner, and again, check their degree, their career, their references, completely up to you. But we can also do a thing if someone's a great connection or someone that we'd really like to keep an eye on, we can use this little option here called Add to Talent Pool. So once we add someone to a talent pool, if we come back into the connect area, we can start building this talent pool area. So this just becomes a little repository of educators that we'll build over time. So these might be educators that we think would be great to connect with at some point. It's very easy to remove them. You can literally just click and he'll be gone now. It's very, very quick and very easy to utilize. But yeah, the other thing as well is, look, with the events, if you jump into this area and if you want to make sure that you're registered, if you click on our global recruitment event for January and just hit the register button, you can do the same with your team members. Once they've been added into the platform, they'll be able to come in here and hit the register button as well. Okay, so look, I'm going to pause it there because I think we've got some bare necessities that we can start to cover. The first being jumping up into this icon in the top left hand corner, going into users and permissions and adding your colleagues in. Get them added, enter in their details and their email address. Let's get them in there. The next one is to edit school profile. So to come in here and make sure that this looks correct. I know this image in the background looks a little pixelated, so maybe if we've got a higher resolution, that might be better. Have a look at the write-up, see if you want to change any of that information, but fill as much of this information out as you can. It will help you. It helps you get your message across to candidates or potential hires. The next part that we've got is back under the connect area. We've got the ability to create our vacancies. We've gone through that. We can also find our candidates as well. So if we want to do proactive searching, we can come through this avenue here to find people, send them a message, usually by, if I hit search for candidates really quickly, using this starter conversation. We've got the option to use invite candidate to apply, but I find it's best to start a conversation first. The other thing that we have off there is that we can start creating a talent pool if we wish, but I think that will do for now. If there are positions that you have, feel free to post them up. I'm happy over the next couple of weeks to keep an eye out on these for you, as well as your account manager, Chris, who's going to be able to assist. But yeah, I think this is a good starting point. Again, I do apologize for the inordinate amount of non-connectable times, which it's a difficult time of year, unfortunately. But look, if you do have any questions, even though I might not be in contact and I might not be accessible, I can continue to do things like this. I can create something of a video format to share with you so that we can at least keep moving and get you prepared. We'll get you well and truly prepared, ready in time for the next event. But let's get some positions posted up and get some interest coming on through. Thank you so much, Arthur. I'll talk to you soon.